that I love about the topics that we have here at Soundchat Radio, we don't all have to agree. And again, most times, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't want us to agree. Because sometimes when everybody agrees, the conversation is not as spicy as I want it to be. So I welcome different point of views and, I don't want to call it arguments, but, little, that thing there, that just adds to the experience. You know what I mean?
Diversity.
The little diversity. I don't want to call it an argument, but my love that's sitting there, you know what I mean? Because at times it is definitely needed. And one of the things that I want to show you guys here at Soundchat Radio is that every situation can be spoken about from different angles. Everybody doesn't have to examine the situation the same way. And everybody doesn't have to go with the public or most popular narrative.
True.
You know what I mean? We all can come together here on the platform and just talk our minds about things. And sometimes you get a strange call because you feel like everybody's on one path, and then one person call in and give you their perspective and you're like, oh, wow. Didn't think of it that way. Yeah, sometimes we don't even agree, but at the same time, it adds to the conversation. So shout out to everybody that was locked in on Saturday. Big up to those of you that was locked in last night, too. We had fun last night. Last night, of course, is called Fun Fridays, and I'm going to emphasize fun because we had fun last night. It was really, really cool. Shout out to those of you that have been locked in all week, man. We got some really great programming here at Soundchat Radio, and I'm urging you guys to just stop in and check it out. Not only my shows, but we have a host of talent on the platform. From Monday to Monday. And if you're not locked in, you're missing out. Even though sometimes I peep in and I realize that the listeners are, the thing up there. So I realize that somehow somehow not stop in for see what I want. And we love that, you know what I mean? But want more of you guys to stop in throughout the week and check out what's going on. Got some big changes coming up on Soundchat Radio 2, doing a little rearranging with some of the programming here. So I'm going to be speaking to you guys about that later on as well. But what I wanted to do is not do too much talking about nothing tonight and get the conversations really going really fast, right? Definitely on a Saturday night we do 4 hours, and 4 hours flies so fast when it comes to good conversation. Definitely. And I'm extremely poor with time management. I'm gonna say that, right? So today I want to try something a little bit different, and in saying that, I want to limit the calls, but I kind of want to see if we can level out how long we stay on each call.
Yeah, man.
Just to get more calls in. Because one of the things, right, that one of the complaints, or the only complaint that I got last week about last week's wonderful show, was more people seem to have wanted to chime in. And they didn't get a chance to chime in because we was yapping, you know what I mean? And some of you called in and I let you express yourself and then over-express yourself and then express yourself again. And other people were waiting to get in. So today, please bear with me, people, and don't feel disrespected because you guys are so quick to feel like, say, oh, the boy chin hung up the phone for me. I want to get it in. I want people who didn't get a chance to talk last week to talk, because we are going to visit back that whole pastor situation, because you guys know the pastor is dead now. So we're going to be visiting that conversation and more, right? So turn up your radios loud. In a minute, I want to kick off my first topic of the day, and I want to get some interest from those of you, some feedback from those of you who are listening from early, right? Well, everybody should be tuned in as the clock hits 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? 718-554-8598 is that number in studio. Shouts to those of you hitting me up on WhatsApp. Let's get into a topic from early today, man. Let's do that, right? And he's been behind bars for a couple of weeks now. And now news is that he will be facing another 83 days behind bars. So the first time that he will basically go to court for his open hearing will be January 2022, right? Now, the Levellands allows a maximum of 110 days in pretrial detention. So, he can be detained for 110 days, right? Afterwards, they also open up the courtroom to the public. So that means like media and all of those people can definitely pop in from day to day to see what's going on with his case. So, another 83 days for Jacure. It's sad, but at this point, I think it is what it is. All right, 718-554-8598. I'm looking at some of the bloggers. I'm watching some of the comments, and I'm seeing that people are saying that this might be, this really might be an issue for him, if he doesn't get off.
Yeah.
And it might be the ending of his career. I'm hoping that that's not so. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But again, we got to see how that develops, right? 718-554-8598 is that number in studio. So I want to take you guys back a couple of weeks to that, and I want to talk about something first that really, really bothered me. I want to make sure that it bothered you guys as well, or find out if it bothered you, because some of you probably weren't even aware of this situation, right? Now, remember I told you that for the most part, the people who seem to have the most power and to make the most important decisions in Jamaica seem to be stupid. And as much as we don't want to admit it to ourselves, because, nobody wants to know that they are being led by the blind, right? But we always can put our hands on a situation that we can say, this is stupid. Like, who thought of this? Who signed off on this? And why did they sign off on this? I want to get your opinions on this, people, because maybe I'm the only one that thinks it's stupid, right? Some of you may think there is some, I don't know, some light at the end of the rainbow in this situation, but I honestly think it's stupidity. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Heroes Weekend that just passed, right? The fact that the government of Jamaica decided that it would be a really great idea, and thank you to the nurses, to light up King's House in blue. Now, think about what I just said. So on Heroes Weekend, I guess because they want to pretty much, maybe, how do I say this? I'm trying to find the words because it's so crazy to me. I guess whoever thought of it was thinking of, well, if we light up the King's House on Heroes Day, then maybe that's another way of saying that the nurses are heroes, So let's honor them on Heroes Day, right? So there was this big, lit sign put on the lawn of the King's House that basically says, we love healthcare workers, right? Now, I know some of you are probably saying, but Shin, that's not a bad thing, or, that's a good gesture. But I want to go deeper into it. And I want you guys to really think before you start to applaud these dummies, right? A sign that has to be lit at night. Can't be lit in the day. Has to be lit at night. It's number one, right? Those of you who understand what's happening in Jamaica, you would know that Heroes Weekend was a no movement weekend. So, therefore, from the way I see it, a sign was invested in. Somebody got paid for this grand idea to put up a sign in honor of the nurses on Heroes Weekend, in which there's curfew and no one was allowed to leave their houses for the whole weekend. How does that work? But again, 718-554-8598, you guys can call me and say, Chin, you missed it. You missed the message. Or you can say I'm analyzing it wrong. But to me, it's stupid. I think that if the government is trying to let the nurses know that they're appreciated, we could think about 100 different ways that they could have spent that same money that they spent to light up the sign to say that they're appreciated. 718-554-8598 is that number in studio, right? So this situation took place. Meanwhile, nurses, doctors, and other staffs of the healthcare situation, right, is carrying the burden of COVID on their shoulders, right? the nurses, of course, had a lot to say about the situation, right? Many of them said, how about paying us a little bit more?
I mean,
Exactly.
definitely.
Right? If you want to show that we appreciate it, pay us more. We don't need a sign. Right? Give us COVID incentives. These are all the things that, people of that first line of defense,
First
healthcare
responders.
workers, first responders, said like, yo, this is what would have made us feel like we are look a bit more respected and a little bit more, we would have feel more, whatever. The fact of it is that you're lighting up a sign. When you say that there's no money to do anything else, there's a sign being lit that says, we love healthcare workers, right? So you love the same healthcare workers, which can't get no raise, underpaid, understaffed. There is no equipment for them to, take on this COVID challenge in Jamaica. Now, to me, it's just backwards, right? I've already said that the GG is good for nothing. Right?
And the worst thing too is in the middle of their negotiation to get higher salary.
Oh yeah.
It's like that is the irony of the whole thing. It's right in the middle of them saying we need more money, and you're gonna give some third party sign person all of this money, which you could have given a few of them some bonus at least.
So no one thought that when they were gonna spend this money, that there would be a no movement weekend, so nobody would actually be driving by to even see the situation, right? So you guys have this, we refer to him as like the Queen's, the Queen's puppet,
Man.
the Queen's whatever, right? That has a post in Jamaica that usually doesn't do anything, right? And now the GG, along with whoever signs off on it, says, hey, this is a great idea. This idea is so wicked because at least we can show the nurses who are underpaid and overstressed that we really care about them.
By giving somebody some money that
By
they could
giving
have-
somebody else, right? Now, chances are, and again, because this is just the way our thing rolls in Jamaica, chances are, is another friend we own a lighting
Of
company
course.
get the job for light up the
Of
King's
course.
House.
Well, you're not going to hire a stranger
Of
for that.
course.
You understand?
You know,
So
to make
it's
sure
just
the job gonna
moving
get
the
done
money
right.
around. Call you live.
Chin.
Yes, I.
You put out the topic and then hit the point before me can't hit the point. So that means you know what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, my brother. Talk to me.
But I remember I said the line company, them not really going all here in the chin, so and them in a deal for how long and then COVID coming, but the deal still stands. So I like to think that I forgot if they eat our food.
But don't use the nurses. Don't use the nurses to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. I think for the nurses who are working so hard and risking their health, to fight this COVID thing and to keep things under control in Jamaica, I think it's a slap in the face.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It would have been good.
It
It would have been good if. To me, it would have been more acceptable if they just basically said, listen, the nurses are stressed, right? We're going to use this money because I'll know them to tell you how much money it costs for like King's House.
they're not gonna tell you that.
But when they tell you, it's going to be an unbelievable amount of money. But there's simple things that could have been done.
Yeah.
I think it would have even been a better gesture to say that you were, sending these nurses to the spa.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, Chin.
Something.
Them
Yeah.
look something that makes sense. Therefore, they will not do it.
They will not do it because it makes sense. Thank you. This is
Because it
true.
makes sense. Big up on yourself.
Yes, 718-554-8598. You understand what I'm saying? There's so many big spa facilities in Jamaica. Maybe the government could have went to one of them and said, listen, we are giving an X amount and this is what we want you guys to do. Probably still would have came up cheaper than lighting the house. You know what I mean? Call it live.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a different perspective on what your moot point is tonight. Because how much would it cost to give all these nurses bonuses? How much did it cost, man? It costs much less to light whatever the light is, and the whole Jamaica know about it because you in New York and you know about that too.
I know about it,
to do
but
that.
caller, listen. And again, we're not arguing. We're talking, right? I know about it because it's stupid. That's why I know about it. I
And
know
that is your
I
fight.
know about it because it is a direct slap in the face, right? Because think about this, my brethren. Just think about this. And you're probably not part of the healthcare system, right? But
My
if
son is a doctor.
oh yes, well, your son is a doctor in Jamaica?
No, here in New York.
Oh, here in New York. Well, you think about this now. Someone is doing something in honor of you that nobody can see because for the whole weekend there's no movement in Jamaica. That makes sense?
Chin, people in Montego Bay could not drive past it even if it wasn't no movement. People in Negril wouldn't either. The nurses were honored at King's House. They knew about it. People heard about it. Even if they didn't drive past it to see it, it was advertised. They know about it.
So
It's
this is
the
a great
concept
thing. This is a great
that
thing in your
matters.
opinion. In your opinion, this is a great thing.
I think it is. Nothing is wrong with it.
Okay.
They cannot afford to give bonus to everybody.
Okay.
But at least everybody feel that special thing.
Oh.
You can have a birthday cake for your child. It costs less than to keep a party.
Okay, now listen, I'm glad that you called in because your perspective may start another conversation. Because I totally disagree with you, but it's okay.
I want you to disagree.
I totally disagree with you.
It's a great
right?
point, though.
But I get what you're saying as well. 718-554-8598. Let the conversation go. Caller, thank you. Let the conversations begin. 718-554-8598. Is this a great thing for the nurses? Right? Because the gentleman said that they're being honored at the King's House.
Okay, so here's my take. Now, yeah, we were not, well, I was not suggesting that they send everybody to a spa or whatever, give everybody a bonus. But everything that they're doing right now is a gesture. In the same way they could say the leading nurses at X amount of hospitals could have been treated. What people don't understand is sometimes these little things are what motivates people. Then they feel like, oh my God, you know what? At least one of us did get treated. You know what I'm saying?
I would like that gentleman to be able to show me, and he brought in an interesting perspective. I would like him to show me nurses who were on the positive side of this situation, because everything that I saw was nurses complaining, and they did not want to be honored in that way. They thought it was a smack in the face.
Maybe if they had been treated better before and then this happened, it would have been different. But being that they've been neglected and overlooked and pretty much taken advantage of and taken for granted, this act seems really like it's just like, oh, you're just
And I'm going to repeat that in the middle of the negotiation to get money where them said there's no money.
There were
It's crazy.
there were situations where you saw people saying, show us more protective gear, which would be the nurses, right?
They could have invested in that.
Show us more protective gear, right? Show us benefits, increased salary, all of these things, right? Now, here's the thing. And the brethren made a point, but I wanna jump on that point as well. When a child is having a party or birthday, right? You may not be able to have the party, but the child still appreciates the cake.
Yeah.
In this situation, there's no appreciation for the cake.
There's no cake.
Right? No,
there's
that's the cake. The cake would be the sign.
The cake is the sign.
Because he said.
But the cake, though, for the child to appreciate the cake, it means that them have to see it and taste it and, partake in it.
No, but the cake is there, Sherry. The cake is there. So we're going to...
It's like the cake over your neighbor house
because
you're not partaking.
Let's give it to them that the cake is there because everybody, all you need to do is see it. So let's just say them put up the sign, them air it on every channel in Jamaica,
and them see picture
so everybody see.
All right.
So that's the cake.
All right.
You understand?
Is this not another way to be? I'm trying to find the proper word.
I think
it's
what
almost like
happening,
a fake thank you.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost like a fake thank you, because if I'm doing something for you that absolutely has no value and you don't feel appreciated by me doing it, how is it helping the situation?
Everything to me that this government does in this way, it's kind of like a gesture to say, but we did do this.
Yeah, we did this.
But what? We not seeing the benefits of it. So why did you bother to do it?
718-554-8598 is that number in studio. I'm starting the topics early today, and I'm kind of going to, I want to kind of glide through the conversations because we're going to have a lot of big conversations today. Big up to Ross Klemp. I just saw it walk through the door. Full house tonight, full house of conversations. Just something to think about. I like to provoke thought. And to me, I'm seeing a lot of decisions being made, but not being all the way thought out. You know what I mean? The nurses are frontline, right? And we need the nurses. Because let's be honest. The country can't fight COVID without the nurses.
Of course not.
So if the country can't fight COVID without the nurses, and the country can't afford to get the nurses them pay, I guess some of you think this was the next best thing. Light up the King's house and say thank you. Call it alive.
Yeah, should I'm going to call again.
Yes, my brother.
I'm call that time. Answer this. If the star ball up on the team broke in 2 foot, then what you buy again? You buy a new boat scheme or you buy a crutch scheme?
I love it. That's a very good analogy right there.
Hold them new sneakers here till you reach back, brother.
Call it alive.
Good evening, Chin.
Good evening, Mama.
And the family.
Yes, good
Good
evening.
Listen to me. The nurses then need the pay, the arm, the what you put on the parade. Nice nurses, congratulations. They could take that money and give to the nurses. That's why nurses leave in Jamaica and go in other places. And we have the best nurses, partial none. We have the best nurses in Jamaica.
That's a fact.
Okay? We have the best nurses. Okay? That's why they're leaving, because they're not getting no pay. They're not getting any pay, and them taking the money doing things that couldn't stay. That couldn't stay. We need the money.
Let's talk about, and again, because it's a great conversation, right? Thank you, Mom.
Anytime.
Let's talk about the difficulty that the nurses are having just to get to work for transportation.
All right.
Let's just talk about real things. Because this sign on the lawn of King's House that says, we love healthcare workers, is not a real thing. This is not real life. Let's talk about real life. Real life is lack of protective gear, even though we need them to go to work. Lack of transportation, even though we need them to get to work. Right? So the GG and whoever his affiliates are, maybe it would have been better energy to say, okay, you guys are heroes, since they tried to use the Heroes Weekend as symbolism. Let's do something like this that can better your situation moving forward. Call it alive.
Look, that lit sign was, I don't even think it was for the nurses. It was for the general population, to telling them that we, the people, the government on your behalf, you the people, 2-point-something million people, appreciate the nurses and the doctors and healthcare workers. That's what it's saying. And even nurses are appreciating, it's just a general thing for the public that we appreciate our healthcare workers.
Poor me, because that flew right over my head. I want to welcome.
That didn't make it worse.
I want to welcome Ross Klemp to the platform, man. Big up, my brother.
Good night, Chen. Good night.
Jump right in on this, man, because we're gonna be moving fast.
I don't want to jump right in. I was driving here. I was in Queens.
See.
And I was passing through, and I heard you mention that there's some changes coming to Soundchat Radio.
See.
And let me say this: there are some changes coming to Soundchat Radio. We've been having a conversation for quite some time about doing some things together.
Yes.
It is going to happen. So let me say that. There are some changes coming to Soundchat Radio, and especially on a Saturday night.
Yes, sire.
So get used to it. Get used to it. This conversation is a huge conversation. So let me take it back. It's a big conversation. So Jamaica does not understand what they're doing. Let's go back 2 years ago. Doctors came out of school. The Prime Minister said they don't have any money to hire new doctors. COVID just got started. Look at how Jamaica has treated the nurses in Jamaica. Hundreds of nurses has left Jamaica, physically departed Jamaica. The diaspora has been knocking on the door, saying to Jamaica, we can help you. We have the expertise to fight COVID. We have doctors, we have nurses. For over 30 years, organizations like the OID, Jaja Foundation, the Jamaica Medical Mission, the Caribbean Medical Mission, has done missions to Jamaica to assist on all different levels. Jamaica said no. Finally, after 17 months, Jamaica has now said yes to have a COVID mission from the diaspora, after hundreds of nurses has left the island. How much do you appreciate the nurses who have been fighting on the front line? This shows you that you have not and you have never really appreciated what the nurses and doctors in Jamaica has done for you. So now finally, after almost 80,000 COVID cases, after 2,000 plus deaths in Jamaica, you realize that you cannot handle the situation. So you said yes to the COVID mission. The second group of healthcare professionals just arrived in Jamaica this past Wednesday, led by Dr. Trevor Dixon. And I'm saying to your listeners tonight, Chin, that Jamaica has always waited until their backs are against the wall to accept help from us. Look how much the diaspora has assisted Jamaica over the years. Think about if we here in the diaspora says no to Jamaica on all levels. What would Jamaica look like today?
That's a problem.
Just think about that for a moment. And think about if we as black folks in America take away all our invention, what America would look like. And it's the same thing to Jamaica. If we don't assist Jamaica, Jamaica will fall apart. So having a one-day situation where you're gonna say you're honoring your healthcare workers, you're honoring your nurses, it doesn't work. We have someone who runs the Ministry of Health who's not a medical doctor. Christopher Tufton has a PhD, and if I'm not mistaken, it's in geography. So how do you, and you have a medical doctor on your staff, which is the Minister of National Security, Horace Chang. So how is it Horace Chang, who is a medical doctor, is in charge of national security, and you have someone who just has a PhD in geography, is your Minister of Health? Think about all the virologists you have at the University of the West Indies, who you have not engaged in having conversation and giving the message about COVID-19 for the past 19 months. You have expertise in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, Jamaicans who work with the World Health Organization, who assist them on a daily basis, and you have not engaged them in giving the message about COVID-19. But you have the PM who answer to the name Bro God, and you have the Minister of Health, Christopher Tufton, who's not a medical doctor, giving us the message on COVID-19. How does that work?
How does it work?
How does that work?
And let me throw something in there, because I like to give you guys things that you don't, you may not know and that may not be following. It was just 2 months ago, right, that the government of Jamaica allowed a whole heap of doctors' contracts to lapse, meaning that those doctors was going to lose their job. It is not until the oxygen shortage, right, and the third wave of COVID that allowed them to realize that, we can't let these doctors go, or these doctors would have been gone. So let's really think about, what we're talking about, and big up to the gentleman because he gave his perspective. But does a sign really fix that?
No.
Or is it a fake thank you?
It is.
It's a fake thank you.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
It's face value.
With everything, when you put everything into its proper place, you realize that the sign cannot be used to honor them.
It cannot.
It can't.
It's
too many things.
As Doc B just said to me, it is hypocritical. It's hypocrisy. You can't do one thing and then you put a sign on the King's Lawn and you say, but we rate you.
Right.
We're not giving you no money.
But we rate you.
But we rate you.
We're not
we
giving
now
no
help you
protection.
get transportation
But we rate
to
you.
and from work, but we rate you. We can't give you no raise, but we rate you. And I want to say this, and then Clemp, you jump back in, right? I don't want nobody to tell me that there's no money. I don't believe that anymore, that there's no money. Because every time somebody thief and it's not accounted for, the country still continues to run.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The money's being stolen.
Exactly.
We're over budgeting this, we're doing this, we're doing that. So there is money. It is just that the powers that be don't want to put the money where the money needs to go.
There is a lot of money being spent in Jamaica. Look how much money has been missing from the Ministry of Education.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
So recently, so let's go back to the former Minister of Education, Royal Reid, who was in the news again this week. Mm-hmm. Look how much money he spent on his birthday celebration. $1 million was spent in the harbor of downtown Kingston just to have a birthday celebration. That is only one incident.
His money or Jamaica's money?
No, our money.
Right.
U.S. money we're talking about. Now, recently, $124 million has been missing, lost. Where is that money? But I can tell you this. All that money leads back to one person. All that monies lead back to one individual, one place. And again, it's just a slap on the wrist. But let's talk about this. So you told the nurses recently that if you should ever get sick, we will not give you preferential treatment.
Yes.
We will not
we
will not put you at the front of the line to get treatment. So after nurses and healthcare professionals started dying, you still refuse to put the people who have been on the front line for the past 19 months fighting this pandemic. You refuse to give them any kind of preferential treatment, but you want them to come to work every day. You want them to be there 24/7, and you have nothing to offer to them. So what happens? So we talk about brain drain. We talk about how America and Canada and the UK take away our nurses. But if you look at the nurses that Jamaica produced, they're some of the best nurses in the world.
Of course.
But only behind Guyana, Jamaica pays its nurses less than every single other Caribbean island. How does this happen?
I think the last time we checked, Clem, it was 60,000 a month, 60,000 Jamaican a month.
It was like
entry level or something like that. Yes, it was. Yeah, something like that. It was a crazy amount of money.
Okay, so put it this way: an MP, a member of parliament, gets $27,000, about $500 per year. A member of parliament in Jamaica. Police get less, teachers get less, nurses get less. It's less than the minimum wage here in New York City.
Yes.
That's what we pay our nurses in Jamaica.
And just to add to that, and we're going to take the conversation to the top of the hour, I just got the figure, right? Big up to those of you who have me on WhatsApp, because as soon as I mention something, you send the proof, right?
Right.
It was actually 147 doctors that were about to lose their jobs. And the reason why the contracts were pretty much renewed, it was because the whole oxygen scare, and then the third wave. So it was kind of like the government saying, oh, this is not the right time to make this move that we're making. You know what I mean? Call you live.
Yo, Chin.
Yo.
Is it Devon House, Garden House, King's House? One of them house there, Arms House, Bridget.
They all belong to the Queen. They all belong to the Queen.
Well said, my brother. Well said. 718-554-8598. Doc B's in the building. Jesse Gender's in the building. Clemp is here. And, of course, the team is here. We're going to have some really, really good conversation, people. Call you live.
Yeah, Chen. Yes, good night to you and your crew. You know, respect.
Good night, my brother.
Topic. Yeah, but you hear me after Chen. You remember that brother already named Michael Manley?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's that brother there. From that brother there left out of Parliament at Jamaica, man. Jamaica just go right down to the jail.
You're opening a whole can of worms right now.
Yeah, man. I really talk, man. You can't hide the truth and lick it, you can't hide the stick and lick it dog, man. You hear that? Yeah, man, you have to lick him in the face, man.
You have to lick them with a stick.
Yeah, but caller.
Yeah.
Caller.
Yes, Raslam.
You know that Michael had his issues too. You know that, right?
I know, but he's not.
Okay.
In a wicked.
You know that Michael. Listen, you
Clem,
know.
I'm warning you. Do not engage.
You know that. No, I can engage because I will take you to task on this one. You know that Michael had his issues too. You know that, right?
I know. I was smart at that time, but things more nice in that time for me. I was young.
It was, but hear me.
Better than now, you know.
Yes, but hear me 1 second. Don't swear by any politicians. They all have an agenda. But yes, Michael Manley was probably the only prime minister in Jamaica who have steered Jamaica in the right direction. But he also had his issues, and that's where I'll leave that one.
Call you alive.
Ross Clan, I'm sure he's right. I'm sure he's on the right show.
Yes, I am.
Mr. Glam, Ross is sure you're on the right show.
I am. Changes are coming to Soundchat Radio.
I love that. You know something? Jamaica right now is corrupt. Corruption running our little country. Corruption. Because from the head of the foot to the sole of the shoes. Corruption. Okay? Because they're getting more money than teachers. And they're not teaching anybody. They're teaching themselves because everybody pocketbook. All them shoes full of money. But you know the old saying, time is the master. No one can do more than them time.
Which is true.
And God help them when the turnover, because it will. Enough is enough. Doctors, lots of nurses. We have the best nurse. And they're leaving and going other places because they're not getting no patient. Whatever they're getting, can't pay them bills, can't pay them mortgage or take care of their family. That's crazy. Well, and we have a lot of money in Jamaica. Like I just hear Rusclan say, the money, people send money home. They have money there, but it's over for themselves and them combo. Corruption, big time. Our little country. What time is the master?
Thank you so much. 718-554-8598 is that number in studio. Shouts to everybody locked in, of course. When we come on the next side of the, when I come back on the next side of the hour, gonna jump in and talk to our attorney, Rudy White. But I want to say this, right? I like this. I like the fact that Clem just dropped by. You know what I mean? I like this. I like the fact that Doc B is here and, you know, Jesse Gender is here. And one of the things that I want to accomplish is just working together to get things done or to have interesting conversations. Because, you know, when we look at the 93.5 platform, there's a whole lot of intellectual people. There's a whole lot of people with loud voices in our community. And I said this and I'm going to say it again because Clemp is here, right? Can you imagine if even once a month that we all came together on one platform? It could be Groovin platform. It could be whatever platform. It doesn't have to be this platform. And we took on a topic and we all took it apart using that intellect that we have and the fact that people in the community look up to us and know and would like to know what our views are on certain things. It would be really interesting.
It would be, you know, but here it is, Jen. I think you're giving away too much because you and I have been having many conversations about how can we work together and unite. Unity is probably the only way that is going to get us through what we're going through. And I think as a race of people, we have lost our way. If you look at where Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica was the first of all those countries to get independence. Jamaica's always been on the front line in terms of leadership. I think we have lost our way. We have lost our way in many ways because Trinidad is now a republic, Guyana is now a republic, Barbados is now a republic, and Jamaica, who has actually helped to free all those countries, are now lagging behind. So we're going to have to figure out a way. We're now polarized.
Right.
And at some point, we're going to have to get out of this polarization and we're going to have to pull it together because talent is here, you know. And like I said to you, I didn't realize that you guys were having these kind of conversations on a Saturday night, on a Friday night, on a Monday night. I did not realize that. And when I realized what you were doing, and once you reached out to me and said, listen, Clem, what can we do? And I said to you, we're going to make it happen. We're going to figure out a way how we can bring it all together. I had a doctor on this morning talking breast cancer, and she offered her service to the 93.5 listenership. As a matter of fact, she is well sought after in Connecticut, Boston, and Rhode Island when it comes to breast cancer. And breast cancer, as you know, has affected our community, black and brown people, adversely, whether you're male or female. How many people listened to her this morning and said, whoa, I would love to have her on my platform. So I bring these people so anyone could actually access them and share pertinent information. Because if you really understand what we listen to on a daily basis, we don't feed that to our car. We don't feed that to ourselves. But we listen to all this stuff that has nothing to do with us. And there's no education in terms of how we move forward. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to unite. And if it starts with me and you, if it starts with you and I, Soundchat Radio and Groovin Radio, it's gonna happen.
Let's let it happen.
So let me say this. It's a surprise visit. Changes are coming to Soundchat Radio.
718-554-8598 is that number in studio. When we come back, I also have another surprise for you guys. I know that you love the Soundchat Radio. I know that many of you say that you're not hearing us enough. So I got a little surprise for you guys. Gonna take a break and we'll be right back. It's Soundchat Radio in your ears, taking you till 12 midnight. We're gonna continue some conversation that we had from last week. Probably dive into it a little bit more because last week the conversation was that good that I think we need to do a second round, right? Mm-hmm. But I want to throw some other stuff in there and I want to come from a different perspective, right? But I did say that I got some news for you. All right, Clem passed through, big up to Groovin Radio, and he was saying that there's big things coming, right? And there is big things coming here at Soundchat Radio. And one of the things that I'm always going to promise you guys is that I'm not going to be that person that doesn't want to work with everybody. I think that we've done that so long and it hasn't worked. I want to try it the other way. You know what I mean? So that's what we're definitely doing here at Soundchat Radio. With that being said, though, Soundchat Radio is coming to 93.5 on Wednesday nights. So for those of you who always say, boy, I wanna need more time, I can't wait all the way till Saturday, which you shouldn't have to wait till Saturday because we're on every other, you understand, day of the week. But Soundchat Radio is coming to 93.5 on Wednesday nights, starting November 10th.
What time?
So I'm urging you guys to lock in. So that's 2 days on 93.5 now for those of you who just feel like you can't get enough of Soundchat Radio. Taking you from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. each and every Wednesday. More conversation, more entertainment, more personalities, more everything, more Soundchat. So write it down. Soundchat Radio is coming to 93.5 on Wednesday nights between the hours of 9 and 11. I don't know, Sherry. I don't know if 2 hours is enough still, but we're going to try squeeze it in another 2 hours. Because you know me love chat. Eh? So the 2 hour thing, but we're going to try squeeze it in another 2 hours and give some energy. I see the phone lines blazing already. I see my WhatsApp going off already. Yes, people. I'll talk about it later on in the show as well. I want to get into, some conversation with Jesse Gender, some conversation with Doc B, but I want to put it out there. We are coming to you guys each and every Wednesday night now. 9 to 11, awesome conversation, diverse reasoning. I'm going to add some more seasoning to it because I don't want every show to sound the same. Right. So we're going to make some changes. And those of you who are saying, but what's going to happen to Cherry Rock and Roger Rubin? They're going to be locking down Soundchat Radio on Tuesday nights now from 10 p.m. till 1 a.m. in the morning. Same energy, same vibes, just a different day. So we're moving around the programming here on Soundchat Radio just to kind of suit the listening audience. Right, I'm looking at the statistics and the analytics and all of this stuff, and we're doing what we need to do to keep you guys' attention and keep you locked into Soundchat Radio. Call you live. Turn down your radio and listen to your phone. Look at the phone lines. Call you live.
Good night to the panel.
Good night, brother.
Night, night.
Chin, I have two questions here.
Yes, I.
Okay, the attorney that just get off the phone a few minutes ago. I know him come after me. Did I try call when he was on the air, but I know that wasn't possible still. But what I want to know is if the judge deny a case, him reopen the case. I know someone has to pay an additional fee, but do you know how much that additional fee is?
No, but I can give you his number.
Yeah, someone is 10%. 10% is that additional fee, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't want to advise you the wrong way, but you can call him directly and he'll definitely, I just spoke to him, so you can call him now.
All right, no problem. And one last question. That real estate lady that always come on the air, I haven't heard her in probably maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I haven't heard her, but with someone with excellent credit. I always hear her talking about that you have to have a down payment. I know some states and rules and regulation are different. I know we are dealing with New York State, but my question is, can someone with excellent credit just pay the closing costs and just go in and they don't have to do a down payment?
Honestly, based on what I've gathered, I don't know if that is possible. But you can fact check me on that. I think that, veterans like Army people and people who served in the military, they are privy to that no deposit down when buying a house. But I think regular people like you and me may have to come out of the pocket with some down payment money.
I understand. So I'm just saying to myself, maybe that's all she makes here, look a cut and whatever.
Yeah, get me that people business now, my God.
No.
Yeah, get me that people business now, my God. Call it live.
Well, let me congratulate the Soundchat for coming on Wednesday night from 9 to 11.
Thank you.
That's a great move. And the diaspora through the diaspora through your organization will do quite a lot for Jamaica.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Thank you. 718-554-8598. Before we jump back into the discussion, it is what it is here at Soundchat, right? Our objective is to give you guys some thought-provoking conversations. You know what I mean? We don't have to agree. We can always disagree, but we're having conversations. And when you walk away from the platform or when we sign off at 12 o'clock, our objective is to get you to say, why? That thing that was Chin did say, or that thing that was Sherry say, me never like what Iron Vice said. Me go look into it. You understand? Jesse Gender and Jabi had so many of you doing homework throughout the week and trying to find the origins of the Bible. Because someone will link me on WhatsApp. Someone even hit me on WhatsApp with the argument whether Moses is white or Moses a black man or Moses a coolie or a Chinese. So again, this is good because it's provoking conversation and thought. Call you live.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Chin and to your staff. Is there any way I can get to speak to you off the air? Do you have another number?
You can call me at 12 or you can hit me on my WhatsApp.
Okay. And what's the number for that?
347.
Okay.
757. 9865.
Okay. And quickly, I've been listening to you from the beginning. One of my questions right now is the fact that I'm not sure that a lot of people know we once owned a building on West 57th Street and they sold it. Now, I've listened to your real estate lady and I've listened to several real estate people trying to get us to buy a home, and that's very nice. But my problem is we don't own a building here that I know of. And we have several parties where we have to go and rent from other people. Wouldn't it be nice if we own a building that when we're having discussions, meetings, weddings, whatever, we have a place that we can call our own?
That would be very nice.
When you say we, who exactly are you?
I think you're speaking when you say we. Jamaicans. Yeah, okay. Or Caribbeans. Let's make it even wider than that. Because I don't want to make it look like we're only championing those who come from Jamaica. We champion the Caribbean here at Soundchat Radio. So let's say we would like the Caribbean people to own more, not only homes for themselves, but business places and business buildings and stuff of that nature. By the way, that reminds me of one of the shows that's coming on the platform, and it's called How Money Works, right? And How Money Works is going to help you guys, the West Indian people, because guess what? Most of it, our parents couldn't teach me how money work because them never know how it work neither. Right? They just got up every day, went to work, and tried to make money to provide for their families. So we're introducing a show here called How Money Works. I'll give you guys more information on that. And that is going to be giving you stock market information, giving you an understanding of what cryptocurrency is, right? And stuff of that nature. So keep it locked. Call it live.
Salute, Chin.
Salute, my brother.
I advise that Jesse. I'm just saying, earlier I played a Taurus Riley which said Soundchat Radio, educate through music, communicate through conversation. I think that's like a nice little slogan.
Yes.
And for our 93.5 listeners, don't forget you can subscribe to, because we have to support our business and keep the station afloat. And a lot of persons who have business in the community would like for them to come and advertise more on Soundchat, so a lot of our listening people can know that these are businesses out there, which is our business, and we're able to support them more. All right?
Give thanks. Give thanks, my brother. Thanks for the call and thanks for the support, yeah? Big up to those of you that support what we do, man. And once again, if you're just tuning in, we are now going to be taking over your Wednesday night. So the good news is that Soundchat will be in your household, in your car on Wednesday nights. The bad news is that some of you may not get up on time for work the next day.
Yeah, put the people in a problem, too.
So let's get into some conversation. 718-554-8598. The phone lines are ringing. There's another thing that I wanted to talk about, and then I want to spend a great deal of time talking to Jesse Gender and Doc B and get into this whole cult situation, because I had no clue, none of us had, that the conversation that we had on Saturday, by Monday morning or so, the gentleman would have been dead.
Oh yeah.
Some people were saying they're gonna kill him, he might be dead. We speculation, but we didn't at no point think that whatever was gonna happen would have happened so quickly.
Yeah, man.
So that was extremely quick. But before we go into that, I gotta mention this because I think it's worth mentioning, and I don't think a lot of you are following this situation. Are you guys keeping like up to date with the amount of vaccines that's being thrown away in Jamaica?
Crazy.
I just want to ask that.
Yes.
Are you guys are you caught up, and are you up to date with the amount of vaccines that is now being thrown away in Jamaica? The last time I tallied, it was over 200,000 to date.
Yep. People are not taking the vaccine.
I just want to say that. Now, some of you may say, what do you mean they might throw away vaccines? The vaccines has expiring dates, right? Expiration dates. And when the date comes, it is no longer healthy for them to administer the injection.
Right.
So Jamaica is now thrown away or discarded over 200,000 vaccines. Now, reports are that each vaccine has $1 worth of $4 US. Do the math. Now, Jamaica has paid for some of these vaccines, as well as some has been donated to Jamaica. But somewhere, somebody paid for them, right? My question now becomes $800,000 US, right? And that's my estimation of what's now being wasted, right? The other day, I know that the last time I checked, they were disposing of like 53,000, right? And then they're disposing of another 160,000 tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, right? So this is all the vaccines that Jamaica's getting, right? And I know some of you are like looking, you like, what? How did, I didn't know this, right? People in Jamaica don't want to take the vaccines, right? And because they don't want to take the vaccines and the government can't get them out to take it, this is what's happening. Now, Jamaica, out of everyone in the Caribbean, has the biggest supply of vaccines, but the least amount of people vaccinated. I just want to put that out there, and I'm not telling people to take the vaccine or not. Conversation is conversation.
Yep.
Conversation is conversation. Now, here's some of the worry that I have about this whole situation. Because you guys know I like to take things from different angles. Angle number one, these people who are donating the vaccines, right? There's going to come a time where them say, me nah get Jamaica no more vaccine.
Facts.
I'm not giving it to them because they're not taking it. And again, this conversation is not to say I'm pro or I'm against. We're just having a good conversation. The reality is, if countries are giving and giving, the country them not get for free, they're giving it to us, they're being spoiled, which means that maybe when people wake up or change their mind and say, so I'm ready for the joke.
Not there again.
Not there for the joke. That's number one. Sherry, I know you're about to jump in and the phone lines are going crazy. But here's number two that makes this thing so critical. 718-554-8598. When we're having conversations about Jamaica, I think it makes sense for you to think like a Jamaican. Mm-hmm. And when the word continues to spread that Jamaica has these vaccines that are spoiled, the next conversation is going to be, me nah take no joke because the vaccine them no good. Mm-hmm. So what Jamaica would have to do to prevent this whole expired vaccination thing from getting out is that they would publicly have to show the country them disposing of these vaccines.
Right.
So you see how things can become a broader situation. Because clearly, if I'm sitting there and I'm somebody that's skeptical about the vaccine, I mean, know say every day my government I say them now the money, right? I mean, know say my government sit on 200,000 vaccines,
$800,000,
and them for dash way, right? But I'm ready for my vaccine now. I'm gonna have that thought. Did they get fresh vaccines, or are they still giving us the old vaccines, the one them will expire because the Queen now give them no more? And them can't afford to buy no more. These are the things that I want you guys to think of. So my advice to the situation would be simple. If you're gonna build the confidence of the people who you want to take the vaccine, then the way you discard the expired vaccinations, right, has to be public. Yeah. It can't be a quiet thing.
Suppose I tell you something, Chin. Whether they show you or not, people still not going to take it. Go back to what Ras Clem just said. There are so many people, and we've said this on this show before, who are knowledgeable, who are better able, who should be advocating, educating, whatever. They're not doing that. All them doing is bullying people and saying you need to do it, and we're going to mandate private sector, and you can't go back to school, and if you're working in certain jobs, you have to. But really and truly, there is nobody educating the people. And Jamaican people are the hardest people. They're going to listen to whoever is most vocal. You know who is most vocal about this? It is the entertainers. So them want to jump on the entertainers, but the ones who are out there talking about it and giving facts, or give information, are the people who are against it. So whose voice is louder? Why don't you have somebody then, if this is the aim, why don't you have somebody who is credible that people would listen to and say, okay, then this is how it works. Talking of them layman terms and explain to them, I'm a doctor. And I recommend this. There's nobody up to now. Look how long we've had the pandemic. There is nobody who is vocalizing that to the common man in the street.
My WhatsApp is going crazy. The phone lines are ringing. I want Doc B to join in as soon as he can. I would like Jesse to jump in as well, because we are going to spiral into what's happening with the pastor. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, greetings to everyone in studio.
Greetings, my brother.
There's a lack of planning on the Ministry of Health, because I had a family member who went and took the vaccine, and when they're ready for the second one, they didn't have it.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. All right, I'm free at the line that somebody is talking.
All right, 718-554-8598 is that number in studio. So think about, Jamaica has now, they have to discard, right? Over 200,000 vaccines. That's a lot of vaccines.
A whole heap of vaccine, man.
Whole heap of vaccines, whole heap of money. So let's just say, in the near future, some persons jump up, because remember now, right? As of November, I believe it's the 7th or sometime in early November,
5th.
right? If you are not a American national, meaning that if you're not a citizen of America, you will not be able to just come in to the country unvaccinated.
Nope.
Right? Now, those of you who, I should have asked the lawyer this as well, but my interpretation of this, and I think that I'm correct, right, is this will even affect you if you're a green card holder. Because it says nationals, right? And when you're a green card holder, your passport is a Jamaican passport, a Guyanese passport, a Trinidad passport, a Grenadian passport, right? So you would be a national of that country. So that means if you're in America and you're working and you have your oaths and you have your this and you have that and all these things that you may have, right? And you decide that you're going home because somebody died in the family or something is wrong home, but you're someone who does not want to be vaccinated. Once you leave, you're not getting back in.
You can't come back.
The only people that can get back in is the citizens of the country.
Right.
Right? So what's going to happen eventually is that persons who are in the Caribbean who don't want to take the vaccine, they're going to take it because they need to move about.
Need to come America too.
And they want to just look at what's happening. And again, people, I'm not that one that's going to tell you to take it and don't take it. That's not my conversation.
Right.
I'm just going to give you the facts of what's happening. So when Jamaica is supposed to discard all of these 200,000 vaccines, right? And then people finally decide that they're going to line up for the vaccine. The deterrent might be the fact that the government did not destroy them in public. Is what I'm saying make any sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
They need to discard them. Discard. Sorry. They need to discard them in public. Whether they're going to bun them, whatever they're going to do, they need to do it in front of the Jamaican public so the people can know. Say, listen, the one that will expire, this is what we did with them. These are the fresh ones. I'm seeing this to be a problem based on the way some people think. Caller, you're live.
I'm on?
Yes, you are.
Greetings, family. Greetings, Jen.
Greetings.
So I want to commend you and the crew for the progressive move of having other commentators within our community to join you and join your studio. Big up to yourself for that.
I would love to have you in the studio as well one day, man, because you always call, you always make some great points. Sometimes you stir up some arguments, but I love that. So feel free to stop by one of these days.
Thank you for the invitation. I will take it up, my brother.
Give thanks.
And I also want to commend the elder who has been pushing for that. I want to also commend Brother Jawara also, who used to do something like that. And Rasclem is affiliated with Brother Jawara. But now to Brother Rasclem. When a caller called in and said, I want to commend Michael Manley. Rasclem said something like that. But caller, Michael Manley had issues. So let me just address that now. The only person people say have no issues would be God, right? And based on these Greco-Romans, Judeo-Christians, Nordic gods, they all seem angry and racist and sexist. They all have issues. Now, I will take Michael Manley. It was unfair to Michael Manley to throw it out there, but he did not go on to say what the issue is. Imagine me calling in and say, Chin do some good program, but Chin have issues. That's an underhand it in there. Now, I'll take Michael Manley, allegedly with the issues, a person who married an African-Jamaican woman, Beverly Manley as his first lady, just like how a lot of black people were proud when you see Barack and Michelle Obama as the first lady, as the first family in the White House. We were proud to see a black woman representing our country. I take Michael Manley, who had Jamal program for the masses, literacy. I'll take him who in-law and maternity leave for our sisters, 3-month maternity leave and others. I'll take him the man who had National Housing Trust, that in the Jamaica Labour Party under Siaga tried to stop it, but could not do it. Even the Labour rights say, don't touch this. You see Republicans try to get away with Social Security, and the masses say no. I'll take Michael Manley with land lease, who free up the land. Didn't take away the land from the aristocrat, but say black people need some land. I will take him with free education to university level. Free education to university level.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't want to make this a Michael Manley thing, because the Michael Manley ites them are calling up.
But Rasclem says to the caller, when the caller, listen, if we try to get the truth, or we correct things in our country, then we have to come truthful. If we are saying correctly that the present administration in Jamaica, is not managing the affairs of the country, I'm correct, and a caller calling to say, here's an example, and somebody say, but that person did not do it, then it's only a fair discussion, right? It's a dialogue.
But it takes away from the broader discussion that I want to have. I'm not saying that you're wrong, I'm just saying that if you and I go any further in this conversation, all of the Manleyites is going to come out, and it's going to be chaotic on the radio tonight. Because you know how that go already.
All I'm saying, Soundchat is the other platform. And if somebody should go on another station and say, Soundchat is a nice program, but
Chin have issues.
Have issues. Then it would be unfair. Then Chin, it would be unfair if somebody called us here and said, I want to correct that because I don't like to throw something that Soundchat have some issue. It would be correct. That platform say, okay, caller, you're correcting because he put out something there in the ear that Michael Manley had issues. And I'm saying I take this Michael Manley administration any day with the so-called issues. And what were those issues? He didn't feel free to explain himself. And I wish he was in the studio that he could say what were the so-called issues that Michael Manley had.
All right, my brother. Let me take another call, man. Let me jump into some conversation here. Doc B's in the building. He's shaking his head. Doc B, say when it comes to Michael Manley and Siaga, that's a whole different conversation. What I would like to do, people, is I want to stay on topic. I want to have a great conversation tonight, or more good conversation tonight. What are you guys thinking about the whole discarding of the vaccines? And again, I'm not asking anyone if they're pro-vaccine or not pro-vaccine. What I'm asking is that, what do you think would be the best step forward in this situation where Jamaica has now has to dispose over 200,000 vaccines?
It is a global issue. This vaccination thing is not privy and limited to the island of Jamaica. You find that so Jamaica goes, so the United States goes. So if the United States of America say jump off of the bridge, oftentimes the Premier of Jamaica will jump off the bridge. Now, when we look at the whole development with the vaccination business, now in the United States there is a Roe v. Wade rule that says a woman have the right to choose. How comes all of a sudden she can't choose?
718-554-8598. Phone lines are blazing. Jesse, would you care to jump in?
Make I say something. Give thanks and praise unto the Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the first for being here, safe and sound, and I hold a cordial vibration. We could go forward to the 70s. Cuba Bill, Garvey Masio, that a Clarendon, Veer. Then Bill Osemati, that a near Spanish Town. I think them Bill GC Foster too. And some more high school where Jamaica nobody build a new high school. See? Cuba now have 6-7 different type of vaccines. If you have heart condition, them have a vaccine for it. If you have lung, them have a vaccine for it. If you have kidney problem, them have a vaccine for it. That kind say all the underlying condition where Rome say the vaccine, if you take it, it will kill you because of that. Cuba have a special vaccine. So why we can't get vaccine from Cuba? What's the problem? As everyone knows, Jamaica have so much billions of US dollars show down all about the place, where the whole of the politicians have them policies in South Florida, where no one talk about both sides of the aisle, PMP and GLP. So why we have to take vaccine from our colonial masters from England and America, when we know so them no kind of no good from morning? That's why I say, brother.
All right. Call you live.
Chin,
yes.
The part with coming back to the US, once you have a green card, once you're a green card holder, you'll be able to come back. It says for visitors, because remember, a green card holder, they consider they live here. They have legal status to live here. They pay taxes. They work here.
And that's why I said that, don't take my word as law. But we've been arguing it back and forth, and I should have asked Rudy White, because it's saying nationals.
Yeah.
Once the word national goes in there, nationals, that's confusing. Because you having a green card doesn't mean that you're an American national.
You're national. Right.
So we got to be careful.
Right.
They said that
exemption with that.
They're saying that all nationals, right? So you guys look it up for yourself. Don't say China said. But from what I interpreted with the word nationals, it means that if you are a green card holder and you leave America and you're not vaccinated, you're going to have a problem coming back in. Because you're a Jamaican national or you're a Guyanese national. So here's what you guys do, because I am not 100% sure of what I'm saying on the radio right now. You're not 100% sure of what you're saying on the radio, but you know what this conversation is doing? It's going to make people look before them travel.
Fuck.
Because you got to know. You got to figure this out. Because if you go travel and you're not vaccinated and mommy drop out a yard and you're gone a yard and then you can't come back in, that's a problem. Call you live. Call you live.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hail King.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, man. Baba Mike, I call. Remember that one? Say a word to Jesse.
All right.
Yeah, Jesse, Congo, Jesse, no.
Yes, brother.
Ayun.
Baba
Mikey, Congo, Jesse.
Yes, brother.
Blazing. Yeah. I call the vice.
No, not 100%.
Baba Mikey Kilmarnock, man.
Kilmarnock?
Yeah, Baba Mikey Kilmarnock. Just again, Baba Mikey.
Baba Mikey, you know some call the next Mikey and I ask him for a link, and for about 6 months now him can't find it. So you will go do. If you want to say something you can say it, I gonna need a link on the eye. Which part the eye there?
Well, I'm living in New York still.
Alright, then a good New York with it then, so
yeah.
So
call Chin.
Chin, how will get a number from my brother, you know? Cause I search him for 6 months and see.
Bubba Mikey, you want to take my WhatsApp?
Yeah, can do that, yes.
You ready?
But, yeah, I'm get it, cause I'm tune into the program. Here what the thing go, you know. And my cousin from Canada make a link for you and say, yo, fire, you know, say Congo the pan a radio station named Soundchat. So you want me to forward the number. You call in and make a link. So it's a link to a link. So my cousin Rastafari cousin live in Canada, Conroy.
I'm going to give you another link now.
You can give me your number, no, Bubba. You can give me over the phone, you know, because no one now go stress there, you know. How it go?
Yeah, my number 845.
Love 45.
845.
Yeah.
541
541
003 0503.
Circle 5, Circle 3.
845 541 0503.
Say it again. 845.
541 0503.
So, Bobo, you want to say anything pan Wagwan and now as a Ital far right where grow your own thing in a Kilmarnock mountain? You have anything to say with Wagwan?
Well, here one is a mystical journey, so I automatically up on a farm, approach farm where grow organic stuff same way. So my eating habit kind of up and running. If thanks to approach farm where I go the fresh vegetable and thing. And it's not a continual thing throughout the year where it go because of the weather condition and all of that. And you know we live in a different climate. But all right. It's all good. Me I eat healthy same way. Which part me there kind of upstate, so the environment healthy, atmosphere healthy and everything. And my job this Christian, a cannabis specialist, so you know I'm working at the hemp industry. You know.
So what you think about the vaccine where I go on with the yard where China said them a dash 200,000 and thing. What's their views on that?
So I'm make it be clear. And I'm state something clearly now.
Yeah.
When I live in Jamaica, I never dream of coming to the United States. But I give thanks to my mom, Clover Marcia Jones at the time. She married now, so I married me my Palmer now. I give thanks to my Queen Mother, you know. When I reunited in 2010 and she pushed it forward, say, "Yo, come to America." It wasn't a part of my thing still. Give thanks to my sister, Maria Patterson, who really pushed it forward for I and say, "Brother, go on." So automatically, I was a man I live without a whole heap of vaccine because you know we're a Rastafari, so we never really dig them things down. We know food, herb and spice and all of that. So I never really have a whole heap of them vaccine there. But to come to America now, I have to end up with a private doctor and do over $60,000 worth of vaccine because I never have them. And then go and now for the medical now, and they say you get one next set again. You have to do cannabis test through urine and all kind of different things going about if you come over America, you know. So when I come forward now, this pandemic broke out and do my research and do all of that, it caused a chaos. When I live in the Milton town area in upstate New York, half 9 double, and I tell you, say, a crazy thing must go on in terms of death, in terms of sick, in terms of the whole place, lockdown place becomes ghost town, nobody can move. My company, when we work with, get a hit one night time where almost a whole percentage of it lay down, but as a Rasta man there we know to eat and drink and keep the immune system clean and clean the mucus. It never trouble me and none of my kids because I have my 2 kids, so I take care of them. And you know, I utilize all the herbs and spice and you know, want to keep healthy immune system, keep your mucus clean, drink a lot of green juice and them something. You can fight.
Bobo, may I have to jump in? The computer will cut you off here, sir. So give thanks for the strength.
All right, Bobo, we're all in.
Yes, I. We'll be back in a few minutes. It's Soundchat Radio.